Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at some more of my Micronauts action figures. And these are all reproductions that were released by Palisades Toys back in 2002. And I believe there were four of them originally, four variants in different colors, and I only have three of them. And I didn't save any mint in the package, but I did save the backer card so I can show you what that looks like up close. Like with the other reproduction Palisades Micronauts, each one included this really nice illustration by Dave Dorman of the character, so that's really cool. Also includes a write-up on Space Glider down in here, talking about how it was originally produced in the 1970s. And the 70s version were made by Mego Corporation as well. And I have the original Mego version, which I previously reviewed on the channel, so we'll do a side-by-side comparison in a minute. Over here you can see some credits that are given to the various contributors who helped produce this. More of the illustrations by Dave Dorman, and also pictures of the various characters that were available in this particular wave. So very cool stuff, and I was trying to get as many of these as I could when they were released. Basically, they were sold at stores like Media Play and so forth like that, so you had to have access to that kind of store in order to acquire these. So we'll start over here talking about this blue version, and as you can see, some of the parts on this are sort of translucent, including the helmet, which is removable. Basically, you can take that off and reveal the head sculpt underneath. And I think they did a pretty good job in terms of reproducing the head sculpt. And this wing pack, basically, the wings fold down, and then all you have to do to activate them is you press this little button and they flip up like that. So, and this accessory is removable. It basically just ports into a little hole in the back of the figure. And I can show you side by side what this looks like by comparison to the vintage original version. Here's my vintage version, and as you can see, they more or less reproduce the head sculpt. It doesn't have that sort of blue tint like the original, but in terms of the overall sculpt, it looks pretty close. And you can see that there are some differences between these two figures. Essentially, on the original one, the arms and so forth are done in sort of a silver die-cast metal, and then on the reproduction one, they're done in black. So there are some differences. So if you end up acquiring these reproductions, they're not going to be exactly like the original, which, you know, there's a little bit of a disadvantage in that, but at least you can make sure that there's a distinguishing point between the two. So you're not going to confuse the reproduction from the original version because they are different. But reminiscent enough of the original that in terms of the overall sculpting of the figure, head sculpt and everything, is very close to the way the original version looked. And each one came with this figure stand, and as I mentioned, the removable helmet as well, and also came with an accessory that was not included with the vintage version. They produced this blaster specifically for the Palisades release, and as you can see, this is cast in a translucent plastic as well. So each one of the space gliders came with this blaster. So that's quite nice, and again makes it unique from the original version. You can see the green version, and I have customized this one because these figures can be taken apart. There's basically a screw that holds the whole thing together. So on this version, I actually swapped out the head sculpt with one of my Pharoid figures just to make it unique and sort of make this one a little bit different from the blue version. And pretty much, same deal in terms of the sculpting and reproduction of the figure, very much in keeping with the vintage original. And then last but not least, we have my red version, which again, I customized this one by swapping out the head with one from a time traveler. So as you can see, the head sculpt is unique on this one. And I do like the customizability of these figures, basically because in the back you can see there's a little screw right there that holds the figure together. And these figures are held together with an O-ring inside, very much like a G.I. Joe. So that allows you to, if that O-ring fails, you can take the figure apart and replace the O-ring, if it deteriorates over time, which they have a tendency to do. Those of you who are G.I. Joe collectors know that basically, periodically, you have to replace that O-ring because it falls apart and then the figure falls to pieces. So, yeah, So these are kind of similar, and they're very similar in scale to both Star Wars figures and the G.I. Joe Real American Hero. 3 3/4 inch scale, basically, for these figures, very much like that. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my Micronauts toys in the future, think about subscribing to the channel, because I will be covering more of this kind of stuff in future videos, including some more of my vintage original action figures as well. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for watching.